Joshua Crudup here. Welcome to my show. Today is Tuesday, June 29th, 2021. What has happened to the NC State baseball players? Well, we're going to find out what's happening here. Well, I was knowing that it was supposed to be happy. It was supposed to be happy. Anyway, let's take a look and see what's happening here. And we're going to take a look at what I'm talking about. The NC State baseball team that we just learned. And what I do talking about is the College World Series inside the no contest versus the NC State that sent Vandermeer. What the heck is going on? Although there was no, I mean, I'm very surprised and I'm shocked. And what has happened to NC State baseball team? Well, the question was, things like that did happen. That was on Saturday. And guess what? Things not looking right at all. Things are not looking right at all. It is what it is, and that's how it's happened. And let's take a look at this. Now, Mississippi State coach Chris Lemons once has... Okay, let's get this out the way. Now, Mississippi State coach Chris Lemons wants his team to focus on tasks at hand to beat Vanderbilt in the College World Series Finals. By 2021, that means more than just playing baseball. NC State's season came to an ultimately end early Saturday morning when the NCAA declared its win or go home against Vanderbilt in a no contest for having too many players out due to possible COVID-19 cases and contact fatalities. The Wolfpack started 2-0 in College World Series and then one more win to advance to the College World Series Finals. They lost to Vanderbilt 3-1 Friday on playing with 13 players because of COVID-19 protocols and were unable to play. They were unable to play the decision's second game. Lemons, who grew up in the Carolinas and called NC State coach Elliott Evan a close friend, said he briefly discussed NC State's situation with his players. Now it didn't happen. Now, new Lord, NC State's outers from college, they are out from the College World Series is low, even for the NCAA. And then, here's the opinion, and let me talk about this. All those players, they think they have possible. And some people, NC State players said they were unvaccinated because it did happen. Well, anyway, here's an opinion. If athletes won't get vaccine, this College World Series disaster is going to keep happening. And look, it is what it is. The NC State players didn't get a vaccine. They didn't want it, but hey, it is what it is. It's a disappointing moment. It's a disappointing moment for NC State baseball team. A very disappointing moment. That was on Saturday. On Saturday morning, we see 8 players test positive. 8 of the NC State baseball players get test positive. They don't even know why. I don't know why they didn't. I was thinking that they didn't get vaccinated. It should be happening for a long time. It turns into a disaster. It do happen in college. Unbelievable disaster. Now, what happened? NC State got eliminated from College World Series because of the possible COVID-19 cases. Now it says for us, it's a compensation. Luminous said, the biggest part of us, and I hate it because we had such an unbelievable fan base. Is we have to take care of ourselves. We want to make sure they are now allowed to sign photographs, and they are now allowed to shake hands, and they are now allowed to do some thing of the things you're in a normal life because we are protecting our group as a whole. Mississippi State has not disclosed how many of the players are vaccinated against COVID-19 or how many players are still in testing protocols. The Bulldogs haven't had issues causing any games or series to be canceled this season, but they have one game that had to be canceled because of the issues with its opponent's roster. As a precaution, Mississippi State did not greet fans in the team hotel after Saturday's walk-off win over Texas, according to the team's Twitter account. The win pushed the Bulldogs into the best of three national championship series beginning Monday. Lemon said he feels for how difficult this circle must be for NC State. It sucks, Lemon said. I had multiple coaches in my dugout who worked and went to NC State, and it sucks. Our hearts are broken for them. Everybody feels that way. Nobody wants to win a game out here because of that. Everybody wants to win it because between the lines, and I know for our kids, it's about us jump. It's about us jumping in there and playing Vanderbilt now. So, Adelio, NC State got eliminated from College World Series. They did not play this or that post deal. They did not advance for the fellas. They only had one win. Only one win on Saturday. The bad news is for them. The bad news for them, the NC State players who that had test positive because they didn't get. I was thinking about they didn't get vaccinated. They didn't. But all they have to do is protect ourselves. All they have to do is protect themselves. They have to protect themselves. And that's what has happened. This baseball team season for the NC State was over. So now, it is what it is. So here we go. And it says this, NC State removed from the College World Series over the COVID-19 coastal was a stunning and gut-wrenching way for the team's magical season to end. The Wolfpack did, through following NCAA rules and guidelines. NC State Athletic Director Bob Corrigan told the news and was over in an interview Monday. We decided in September that the medical experts were going to have the ones that drove their decisions. Congressman said, it's something we had living with this entire pandemic. We had 8 positive student athletes. Put the regulations that were laid out that made this a no contest. It wasn't something that was outside the rules. The Wolfpack was one win away from playing for a national championship as NC State prepared to play Vanderbilt on Friday. 4 Wolfpack players tested positive for COVID-19. The NCAA ruled only players who were vaccinated could play against Vanderbilt, which left NC State with 13 players. Okay, the Wolfpack choose to play with the dismissed roster instead of fulfilling and lost 3-1 to the Cardinals. The teams were scheduled to play again Saturday at 2 p.m., but because of the 4 positive cases, the NCAA test NC State's vaccinated and unvaccinated players Friday night. Those tests reveal 4 more positive cases. Now, between those cases and the numbers of unvaccinated athletes on NC State's 27-player College World Series roster, The NCAA medical guidelines ruled the Wolfpack out of the tournament. Vanderbilt then advanced to the College World Series finals. We understood NC State Colorado Randy Wilson said in a video to the school was this the trail harder by social media. We all know that where we had 8 test results on a team of this size that are all trying to do it together, living together, eating together, we know what the results are going to be. Now, Wilson also said the case was from the dental variant of COVID-19. A new variant, health officials say, is more congressing than previous variants and is responsible for a high percentage of new cases. The NAO request to interview Wilson was declared either Monday. Now, with the Condors and Mississippi State is to begin its best of 3 series to determine the national championship that was last night in Omaha, Nebraska. The Wolfpack is on embarrassing what feels like a national title opportunity rob. Congress understands the angst among Wolfpack fans, staff, and the players are their families. Everything that's going on right now is personal. It's emotional with everything that goes into it. Culligan told the NNO, let's not lose sight of what is an incredible year it was. Now it is what it is, and that's happening for real. Now we're gonna go on. This season, NC State started ACC playing 1-8 and half a March series with Duke canceled due to COVID-19 issues in the program. The Wolfpack find its groove as the season progressed to play their way to the NCAA NCC championship game, followed by the visual and super visual wins that earned the school its first College World Series appearance since 2013. Wins over Stanford and Vanderbilt put NC State into the national semifinals for the first time since 1968 and the second time in program history. But along the way, not all the NC State players close to the vaccine against COVID-19, while NCAA protocols allow players who have been fully vaccinated for 2 weeks or more and without symptoms to not being subject to regular COVID-19 tests. Well, those who were unvaccinated were testing every other day. In a statement released by NC State on Saturday, Corrigan said it was up to the players whether or not they get vaccinated. Now, vaccination for all students is a personal decision. Corrigan wrote, the university cannot require vaccines for all students, including all student athletes. Since vaccines were not available until after the start of the season, some of our players decided to wait until the completion of the season in case of side effects. We respect the rights to make personal healthcare decisions. Now, following a 1-0 win over Vanderbilt on June 21st, NC State coach Elliot Everett said there was a big bug going around his team and players needed to rest. Subsequent testing revealed players had COVID-19. Anthony Harmon, the NCAA's management director of championships and alliances, decided in an interview request for the News and Observer, the NCAA spokesman, instead of references to pull the interviews. Harmon had a D1Baseball.com and ESPN.com. Now, what happened to the Wolfpack at the College World Series? Well, NC State had its first player test positive for COVID-19 on Tuesday after it had already won its first 2 games in the College World Series. D1Baseball.com reported at this point, The past vaccinated players were still not subject to tests per the NCAA's COVID-19 protocols. The Douglas County Health Department officials in Omaha met with NCAA officials several weeks prior to the College World Series to ensure that they had procedures and protocols in place to manage COVID-19 department. Spokesman Phil Warney told the News and Observer on Monday. Now we're going to go on. Those protocols call for contacting tracing and the NCAA medical team identify another player who had been considered in close contact with their first positive player. The NCAA did not use events comments about bug after they went over Vanderbilt as a reason to begin pummeling the team, although there had been speculation that had happened. Weiner said the country health department was not involved in the contact tracing as the NCAA contracted it with a third-party runner for the case investment and tracing. The second player to test positive reported had several negative tests on consecutive days before testing positive on Friday, prior to the Wolfpack rematch with Vanderbilt, according to D1Baseball.com. Reporting COVID-19 symptoms related on the unassisted to international NC State players with symptoms were sent for testing Friday morning, and those two players' tests came back positive. According to ESPN.com, bringing the total number of COVID-19 cases up to 4. At that point, the NCAA made the decision to hold out all of NC State's unvaccinated players from Friday's game. So that has to go to the championship medical team, and you got to distract that. Harmon told ESPN.com, it's not just the results, but the contact tracing and all of this is happening in a very small window. Because the team had 4 active cases, NCAA medical protocols call for the entire team to be tested, both vaccinated and unvaccinated players. Wiley said Hardeman, after consultation with the NCAA medical group, contacting country health officials on Friday, the NCAA request additional testing capability with DCHD combined with the National Public Health Laboratory. Weiner wrote in an email on Monday, specimen collector and PCR tests were performed that night on 33 individuals. So after the short-handed Wolfpack lost to Vanderbilt that day, the players were tested and awaiting their results. Douglas County health officials had no distant contact with the NCAA medical group, Weiner said. The results didn't come until after midnight, and when the news was devastated to NC State in Saturday morning's rehouse, Wilson and Colligan said the Wolfpack knew they'll be out if enough more cases were found. We understand with the results, Wilson said, there's no question the results. We understand the gathering of 8 players test positive, and the fact that this was the Delta variant. This is a variant that comes from India. That's super congressional and quickly emerges in the country as another real infection. So we understand that's all concern. NCAA protocol stipulation that NC State's team could not continue in the tournament. Douglas County Health had no role in that decision. The deportation was not consistent regarding the NCAA's decision, Weiner said Monday. But that, NC State arranges safe travel home for their players and staff. Those that returned Saturday night were greeted with a celebration at Duck Field to honor their season, a magical season cut short. I saw one of the fans of the NC State fans up there, way up there in Raleigh, was showing it a way to come home to see who, and they, they just couldn't wait to see what NC State will win. NC State will win to head on to the college World Series finals. They just can't wait to, and they're gonna have the NC State baseball players to win the finals of the College World Series. And in Destiny, it came true, it came positive, and the NC State baseball player, the Wolfpack players, are out of the tournament because they test positive. 8 players had tested positive. It is what it is, and for sure, I'd be damn sure that's happening. It all happened like this. Look, sometimes things happen, okay? We see 4 players get tested positive for COVID. It is what it is. And that's how this baseball team has to live with it. They shouldn't get fully vaccinated. They shouldn't be vaccinated. And they shouldn't get fully vaccinated right away. So it happens. It happens for us. And ladies and gentlemen, it did happen for the reason. We just don't understand why what is going on. We just don't know what's happening here. And what has happened so far, and it happened so fast. This has got to be a disaster for the Wolfpack. And they went home. So the Wolfpack stayed home, and it's been a disappointing season, but it was a great season, as we always know. That's COVID-19 still going on and on and on. And yes, it is. In fact, it is. It's going to be something that you will have to happen. It has happened. They're going to be talking about on this morning. NCAA baseball team, NCAA baseball, college baseball is going to be talking about it for real. NC State Wolfpack players are going to be talking about it for this moment. But no, I feel bad for them. If they couldn't make it, if they couldn't win and beat Vanderbilt, they couldn't make it to the College World Series finals. It's just a shame. Very a shame. Tune in. Just a Crudup. Please like me on this YouTube channel and subscribe. And I'll be seeing you again next time. Tune in. Take care, everybody.